Okay. BCA-101, D18, Monday, 2/27/17. Today we're going to work on spreadsheets at the end of class. We're going to finish up Unit 3. That'll be the first thing we do. And then we'll take just a little bit of time. The students will discuss Drive. The reports from the students are very good. The stuff I read. Next week's midterm, primarily focused on the outline. And a good place to review would be the assessments. We talked a little bit about the midterm. It's similar to the assessments, multiple choice, matching and so forth. If you do a good job on the outline, it would help you to remember the materials for the midterm. Okay. And for Drive, we talked a little bit about money. Get that off the table. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Doing creative work. We'll just mention that briefly again on Wednesday. See if I can pick up where we left off. On this slide, we spent time talking about software. Applications, we talk about user using applications. That's on another slide. We talk about that later on. We spend most of our time on operating systems. And utilities all fit under system software. And we'll actually talk about a few more things. In the class, we reviewed, we have software managed files, we have task manager, we did Control-Alt-Delete. I showed task manager briefly on the board. We talked about updating users on a computer, manage updates to the software. Some of those can be done automatically, but we talked a little bit about that, like the operating system. Anybody who's had Windows 10 has gone through the updates. You can have those happen automatically, or you can initiate them yourself. And we talked a little bit about install and remove software. These are utilities, things that they're really not an application, but they help you manage your computer utilities. Then we went back and talked about operating system functions. They manage resources. They manage the processor, the memory, the storage, and so forth. This is key to making any computing device work. Features, how you communicate. We talked about user interface and user experience. The different ones would have different features. Some people like the way Apple does some with their operating system compared to the way Windows does it, or compared to the way Linux might do it. Categories, we have these operating systems on smartphones, tablets, laptop, and PCs. Your car, all types of technology. So we were just talking about there's all kinds of categories of operating systems. Your car probably doesn't use Windows 10 to function. You use some specific operating system for that particular make, model of car. So we listed operating systems. We listed Windows, we listed Linux, we listed Mac, Android, iOS, and so forth. There's a few of them students mentioned that weren't exactly operating systems. We'll talk more about that later on. Another type of utility, type of software that goes with system software, we have device drivers. This is software that allows you to connect, let's say, a Seagate drive to your HP computer, or maybe a Canon printer. Maybe you connect that to an access point which connects to your computer, but there is some software inside the computer. In here, there's some software running that allows this one type of hardware to communicate to another type of hardware, and what makes that connection are device drivers. And then we also talked a little bit about you should have antivirus software or malware or types of software. Those would be utilities too. They're really not application. There's some utility. They create some utility within the computer. Down here we talked a little bit about the OS getting loaded from the hard drive, because we actually mentioned that in class. The computers in the classroom, Windows 10, or there's a way to load Windows 8, which gives us more features, more things we can do, because it's less restrictive than Windows 10. But anyway, operating systems loaded from the hard drive uses up some of memory, and there's instructions. And then you have data and other software, and the operating system manages this process of the things working internally in the computer. One more slide. We already talked about these things. I guess there were some key things here for spreadsheets. Make sure you understand absolute and relative addressing. Use formulas to determine your results, and make sure they're round so that things are accurate. You need to check the assignment for spreadsheets and look at my comments, and in some cases resubmit if it wasn't completed adequately. Last thing to talk about, applications. We have productivity software, software you can buy, load in your computer, and it works what we refer to as like horizontal software. It doesn't make the difference the company. The software will work with a lot of different companies. You can pay people to design custom software specific for your company, or there can be industry-specific software. We talked about $750,000, the software that runs NIACC. Everywhere from students registration to keeping track of grades, keeping track of faculty, rooms, just all kinds of stuff. There's this whole world of apps for on devices. They're really just a type of application that has some particular task, and they're really varied. You know, there's apps written for all kinds of things. The gaming industry, we talk more about that next week. Big industry. People design games, people play games. And then there's this whole other, there's a number of other software where you have browsers and email and so forth. Kind of fit under productivity, help make our lives easier. Here we talked a little bit about that you can get software to help you create software, the development of software. We talk more specifically about that later. So this is a little review. We have hardware, and you have an operating system communicates with the hardware, and you have an application communicates with the operating system. We actually talk about that one more time in the course later on. So that's it.